Welcome to H2O World. A tad, couple of minutes behind, there's long lines outside. It's always fun to be back where it all started. San Francisco's on streets of San Francisco, somewhere in a small cafe is where H2O was conceived. So it's really excited. Very exciting to be here and see the record turnout. We've had about 1,350 RSVPs this time. New York was in June. Record audience in New York. We thought that was earth-shattering. We showed up in London, and pretty dramatic turnout there as well, our first international conference. And believe it or not, we've been hosted in the Computer History Museum for the last few of our events. It's our first event in San Francisco itself. So we're really proud, pleased, and grateful for your support. So thank you for all for coming. Big hand to the community and event organizers behind the scenes. There's an amazing turnout of speakers scheduled rest of the day and tomorrow. 2 days of incredible immersion into the H2O community. And we're really excited. Feedback drives this company, so we look forward to your experiences during the event and offline. So keep hashtagging us on Twitter, or otherwise reach us. A lot of H2O makers are in the audience. H2O's open source has only been growing. We stopped measuring somewhere mid-2018, but clearly the usage has been of our open source platform has only been record. As always, I will say time is the only non-renewable resource. This has been a punchline which we've carried. We've been automating machine learning ever since, after improving the machine learning algorithms themselves. A large part of our curiosity has been to cry for what we really want. And open source has been an amazing movement that has really thrived. And we learned a lot that by giving, you get back so much more. Our open source movement has proved that it comes back in spades. Not just like the rain, but even the kindness of our audience. We'll be talking about design patterns for AI-first applications briefly, but mostly the rest of the day, you'll see the tool chain that you need to build them. Automatic machine learning has arrived, and that makes machine learning more easier to use, more consumable, but there's more to invent. This is still the beginning, early days of making AI more widespread and more part of the day-to-day software. If there's one thing that's super important about this is feedback. Feedback loops drive AI. AI is converting data to code at the lowest level, the lowest common denominator. Computer science has been doing this for years and years and years. As expert systems, we had rule engines. And as statistical learning, we have machine learning giving us auto-generated rules and code that can go and deploy into applications, making them smarter. The powerful theme of how to make new data. Most of you have played with H2O open source, the Mojo, and the Mojo some of you've seen is automatically generated from our open source platform, H2O3. Today you'll learn in the afternoon there's hands-on H2O3 tutorials. Most of you have probably installed it or at least have played with it over the course of the last few years of this product. Starting 2018, we've been bringing Driverless AI to market. I'm happy to say it has received record attention in the first year of its adoption. We have seen thousands of installations worldwide, and we're kind of proud of a second wave of innovation that we've unleashed in this marketplace. This just definitely not the last one. There's so many more coming. You'll probably see talks about this and hands-on workshops on this, on how to do automatic feature engineering, time series, how to look for your lag variables, how to look for seasonality, and add interesting things, especially the area between where it's transactional data and the time series data. And then text, we've added NLP. You'll see some hands-on work today. There's a couple of talks tomorrow. SRK will be leading some of that. But a large chunk of this is, how do I take what used to be a simple Python R that used H2O as its classic backend, now getting help from Driverless AI to automate and configure and get a very good user experience, and deploy the end-to-end pipeline into production. I think shortly from now, you'll see a hands-on work and a deep dive from Arno on this. Here's a simple time series problem, that a Kaggle contest, that weekly sales prediction. And the weight. Ton of innovation behind this simple FTRL models. Helps you for large data sets. Again, LightGBM has entered the realm of data science and has been doing spectacularly well. Accuracy, time, and interpretability. You can hear a lot about interpretability today, a lot about the trade-offs between different recipes. A recipe which is regulator ready, or a recipe that is more focused on accuracy. Again, I don't know how many of you have actually played with the product yet, but it'd be interesting to get your feedback and see how it helps solve your day-to-day problems. Driverless AI is for us more a beginning, a door opener into how can I use AI to solve a lot of my AI problems, whether it's trying to automate feature engineering, you'll see some of that here, or trying to go behind and see if I can automate data quality issues. Can I start looking at prep? Can I start looking at BI? How can I use AI to help my workflows? I think over the course of the next 24 or 48 hours, you'll see a lot of the work going behind this. And so feel free to reach out to our makers and ask for what's going on, what's really behind a Driverless AI run. This is feature engineering, actual modeling, and then scoring. Feature engineering, modeling, scoring. Using the latest innovations in hardware. This is using GPUs in this particular one. We're also working with several hardware, software vendors to continue to improve this, improve time series performance. We think of everything is time series, and so how to improve it, both from a solution standpoint for different capital markets use cases to IoT use cases, to even how do you start taking this and making it even more consumable. What you're seeing here is a powerful variable of feature engineering over the window. Machine learning interpretability is coming of age, so you can see a ton of work from colleagues here, especially showing how time series can be interpreted. I think there's a space where taking the machine learning model to production involves convincing the business user on why a particular peak or valley in the future is forecast the way it's forecast. Shapley definitely helps us here. Other places for innovation that you'll see as course of this week is our announcements around how machine learning is is going to help vertical use cases. Here's another very common surrogate model technique of explaining in English why a particular why a particular user has been scored the way he's been scored for most likely to default. Automatic visualization, I saw Leland earlier. You'll see his work in display as well. So if you need to get behind the scenes on how to generate powerful graphs and understanding the data and discovering the hidden relationships, I think I would urge you to attend his talk. With that, I want to kind of mention in right earnest, this is a team sport, right? All startups, all great products are team sports. We started H2O with a bunch of compiler systems engineers and slowly took it to mathematicians and asked for guidance, asked for what to build next. And pretty quickly we found out that physicists are really core to doing machine learning platforms. So we're quite proud to have some of the world's top physicists now join our ranks to start building machine learning platforms that can be practical. Lately, data scientists who have been influenced by grandmasters have been driving our product. You'll see in Driverless AI, a lot of the recipes are made by grandmasters, and they've been using them in Kaggle contests and winning and generalizing use cases across the board. So H2O has been quite fortunate to attract some amazing talent from that front. We are obviously looking to domain expertise from customers. So domain experts will define which problems get solved in the right order. And I think that's another place where I would expect a lot of growth for the company. There is an adage which says, if you're going to build an AI-first app, you have to start with a data scientist first. For H2O, that translates to start with the Kaggle Grandmaster first. And the H2O World Proverb starts from there. We're quite fortunate to have 10% of the world's top talent working with H2O in trying to improve your experience of data. The focus will shift from AutoML to middleware. What can we do to mass-produce applications of high grade? And the middleware for AI is right around the corner, and that's where I think a ton of innovation is ahead. AI to explain AI, especially to take the data science aspect to the masses. How can I explain? How can I convince my business user? How can I convince my boss to take that innovation and go to the next level? And tell a story. Storytelling is at the heart of the human experience. The School of Data Journalism is right where this explainability starts or ends. Data journalism is the same place where data science was about 10 years ago, and I think the road ahead is going to be paved with a lot of auto narratives that you can create from data and using science to back your facts. We are proud to announce a fellowship program on School of Data Journalism. So folks in the audience who are interested, keen, please knock at our doors. We are looking to fill this program with some amazing talent. AI is now free for conservation. H2O AI's products, all products, both open source, as well as our closed source products. You'll see Dan Rubinstein's amazing talk tomorrow. Tanya and Dan are going to talk about how they've been applying AI as part of their Wildbook project. So don't miss that talk. We believe all life is time series. And so time series innovations that we are doing in automatic machine learning are going to be widely applicable for different pieces that you do. Our academic program has been receiving some wide accolades. We announced H2O for academic users. About 120 universities have signed up for that. All students are encouraged to use the product. It's free for educational use. So we'd love to enroll folks in the audience or students to start using the product and giving feedback as well as making it yours. That said, I think there is quite a bit of questions around how driverless AI or population of driverless AI users has been on the rise, which means that a lot more needs to go into the product in this year. A ton of feedback from the customers has walked its way into making the product even more powerful.